So what was the building like when Mike Shula was out and Nick Saban gets hired? Do you remember where you were? What was the sentiment from the team? Was everybody like, I guess this is awesome? Like, were all popping champagne bottles, or were you like, oh gosh, like, are we safe?
We were fired up. Like, we were super fired up. What's funny though is that Coach Saban was at LSU, and I was very early in the recruiting process, starting to hear, from LSU, and I'm like, heck yeah, Coach Saban. Like, Matt Mock was the quarterback. Like, I'm kind of similar in skill set, similar in style, like former baseball player. Like, all right, yeah, like this place would make a lot of sense for me. And then Coach Saban left. It's like, all right, well, that ship sailed. Les Miles came in. I'm like, yeah, not a good fit. So I ended up going to Bama with Mike Shula, who was a quarterback coach, who had just won 10 games the year before, had just won the Cotton Bowl, felt like Alabama had some momentum. Our recruiting class was like a top 10 class in the country. In our recruiting class there, the 06 class, we had a couple guys that went on to become great players. Javier Arenas and Andre Smith, who was a top
left tackle
prospect out of
forever.
high school, a tackle, yeah. A handful of others. And fast forward, we had a terrible year, and then Coach Shula gets fired. We're like, well, damn, like, what are we going to do? You know what I mean? Like, is it going to be Rich Rodriguez?
Greg went back to the SAE house is what he did.
Yeah, it was not an SAE at that point. That was a second-year pledge. I didn't know what the deal was, like, with the frat thing. Like, that was a foreign concept. And I got to Bama, I was like, hang on, you're not in a frat? I'm like, no. You're like, well, you should be. I'm like, oh, okay. I didn't know that was like a thing.
That's amazing.
Yeah, right.
Well, starting quarterback at Alabama, also in SAE. How you do, Greg McElroy?
Well, I wasn't the starting quarterback when I pledged, and I'll be honest with you, my pledgeship basically was like, "Hey, you want to come over and throw passes to the new boys?" Like, yeah, it sounds like a good deal. like, I wasn't doing bows and toes, bro. Like, it was pretty light lit. I always told him, I'm like, dude, my pledgeship is on at the football facility. All right. Like, I go through 4 years of pledgeship, dude.
Oh god.
And I still see some of my pledge brothers around town now, but long story short, like, yeah, pledgeship was football. But looking at Coach Shula getting fired, it's like, this thing could go a lot of different ways, man. He was fired at, like, around Thanksgiving, and Coach Saban did not get hired until January 3rd. When Nick Saban retired and Kalen DeBoer was hired, it was like 72 hours, maybe less. It was like 58 hours, and people were freaking out. Imagine going like 58 days is about what it felt like, feeling as though that search would never come to an end. And finally we found out it was Coach Saban. We were all jacked, dude. I mean, we were so fired up. We knew it was going to be miserable, though. I mean, it was awful. Like, I mean, the first year was awful. He was basically just testing us. Like, all right, we're going to basically go through a process that was be comparable to military training to see whether or not you're going to be up to the task. Like, we're going to put you through things that you never thought you could handle. And if you survive and you're with us, it's going to be worth it, because we're going to win a lot of games. But it's going to be awful here for this first calendar year. And it was. But we came out the other side as a pretty cohesive unit. Those that weren't all in were cast away. And all of a sudden, we became a pretty good group a couple years later.
What about after that Louisiana Monroe game?
So what people don't realize about that season in 07, like, we started the season 6-2. We beat Tennessee for the first time, and no, we had beat them a couple years earlier, but I wasn't on that team. But Tennessee had kind of had our number, from the late 90s all the way through 2005 or whatnot, 2006. So we beat Tennessee. We're sitting there at 6-2. And like I said, we went through the hardest offseason, the hardest summer conditioning period. It was brutal. And I think, I'm not kidding, we were just out of gas. Like, we had nothing left.
After beating Tennessee, everybody went to the booth, or like,
it's just like after, like, our legs were shot, we were thin, like, guys were hurt. We somehow beat Tennessee, and that was a great win. And it was like, we could not rally. So we lost to LSU, I believe, the next week. We had a bye week, and then we played LSU, and LSU went on to win the national championship. So, like, no shame in losing that game. Yeah. And we actually played them pretty well. And then after that, we totally wet the bed against Mississippi State. That was at their place. Awful game. And then that carried over to the next week where we just completely out of gas. And then against Auburn, we played a little bit better, but still not great. So not to make excuses, like we lost 4 in a row. But I think the off-season challenge led to us being totally running on empty in the final month of the season.
Greg, I heard an unbelievable Nick Saban story recently. I'm trying to remember where I saw it, but effectively, like, the gist of it was he had a reserve offensive lineman, a backup lineman at Alabama. There was like a Christmas practice period, like in December, and the guy had to take a flight back home to California, but he was flying commercially. And he apparently made a call the day before, had a state trooper escort this lineman to the Birmingham airport and had them hold the flight so the guy could go home for Christmas before flying back for the bowl game. And so on that same sort of vein, what is your favorite Nick Saban story that you tell people at parties, just to kind of sum up what it was like to be around him and play for him?
Well, I've told this one a couple times. Like, what people don't realize is like how good Coach Saban's sense of humor is, but it's so dry. And like he's going, and the level of like chops busting, it's like a love language. It's like the more he busts your chops, the more he likes you. And it took me a while to realize that, but it eventually that's kind of the conclusion I came to when I hear his interaction with guys he likes and guys maybe he doesn't like as much. So we're playing Ole Miss. It's 2009. Very, very tough game. Took a big hit early. Kind of got a little bit like, all right, not concussed or anything, but definitely like, all right, I need to accelerate my process a little bit. So we get into the red zone, going left to right. I'll never forget it. We throw a play called boom, which is basically, out-breaking routes by the outside and then corner routes on the inside. It's a mirrored concept, super simple concept, day one install stuff, like easy concept. Well, you read away from rotation. The safeties rotate this way. So I'm reading the left side of the field. And Julio Jones is my primary wide receiver. And come hell or high water, like if in doubt, I'm throwing it to Julio. That's just the way I roll.
Yes.
Makes sense. So I drop back. I love it. Julio's there. I'm throwing it. We're going to throw a touchdown at Ole Miss. It's going to be awesome. I'm going to quiet this play. Spot Hemingway. It's triple covered. In the flat is a guy named Preston Dial, who's our H-back. I mean, wide open. The guy could have done the moonwalk into the end zone. Instead, I throw triple coverage back of the end zone. Bad decision. Whatever. Incomplete pass. We kick a field goal. Live to play another down. It is what it is. Later in the game, same situation, except this time I'm on the right side. I'm working the right side. I got Marquise Mays, who's in the flat. Julio's in the corner again. This time, there's no way they triple cover Julio, right? Like, I drop back, throw it triple cover to Julio again. Marquise Mays is wide open in the flat. I go back to the sideline. I'm hear about it. I'm on the phone with Coach McElroy. Hey, what are you seeing? Like, come on, man. Like, tighten up. All this other stuff. Well, we win the game. Everyone's happy. It's all good. It wasn't a great offensive performance, but our defense played awesome, and we started to get it going a little bit towards the end to kind of put it on ice with the run game. So fast forward to Sunday, you get a call from Coach Saban's office. It wasn't uncommon, but it's not one that you wanted. Calls you in. You know what he wants to talk to you about. We go and we take a look at a couple clips, and I know what clips they're going to be. It's going to be the boom throw to the left, the boom throw to the right. First one he looks at, all right, what'd you see here? Coach, I should have thrown it to Preston. He's wide open in the flat. I don't know why I didn't. I just kind of got locked in on Julio, and I should have come off it, and that was on me. All right, sounds good. What about this one? Same situation, Coach. I felt like getting to the Mays in the flat. Should have gone there for sure. I threw it to Julio. I got locked in on him. And frankly, I was kind of feeling the rush all day. Like I need to go through my reads and trust my reads, trust my eyes, and not have it accelerated too much, and trust my offensive line. The protection's going to hold up. You have time to get to your number 2, dump it in the flat, and live to play another play. He goes, all right, sounds good. Hangs up grabs the phone, says, yeah, come up. Yep, good. Yeah, you can get him. Yep, sounds good. Hangs up the phone. Upstairs walks the athletic trainer, Jeff Allen. Jeff Allen takes me. He goes, all right, come on, Greg, let's go. I'm like, all right, Coach, sounds good. See you. Go see you, man. I walk downstairs with Jeff Allen. Jeff Allen is sitting there. He goes, all right, we're going to test you. I'm like, for what? He goes, we're going to test you for a concussion. Coach thinks you have a concussion because there is no way on earth anyone with sane mind could make that decision twice in the ball game. So like, hey, I did the concussion test. I'm like, Jeff, can I like be a little concussed? May just have a slight veil of an excuse for having made that decision twice. So yeah, I mean, just little things like that. I mean, it was a bad decision. Good. He's like, basically maybe no, don't ever do that again. But at the same time, he had made light of it by making me do some concussion testing. It's all good.
There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
You know what? What can one of these quarterbacks or wide receivers do for me this year to make a wager? It's got to be the running conditions there for Jaden Daniels.
In regards to Jaden Daniels, I was on him in regards to the Heisman Trophy. I actually think he's going to do it on the ground, through the air, 40 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, playing in Cliff Kingsbury's offense where he wants to spread it and throw it. I think he's going to put up dynamic numbers.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
The only streaming sports betting network. Tips, info, and insights to up your IQ. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
New to the Live Golf Plus app. Watch Live Golf any way you want it. Follow any group. Replay any shot. Anytime, anywhere. Any questions? Watch Live Golf live and on demand.
He had 4 grabs in the first half for just over 30 yards, was injured, came back in briefly, and then had to be carted off.
We were pessimistic on Puka Nakua's injury to that same right knee, of that being a nothing, just a bursa, and that's it, as per Sean McVay. We felt there could be a small PCL component.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
I actually want to talk to you a little bit about this because I wanted to try to, talk a little bit about playing starting quarterback. And obviously I was a professional golfer and the mental side of the game, right? So I've heard this term said before when whether it's you as an analyst saying, well, this quarterback, they're seeing ghosts today. And I've always wanted to hear what that term means and maybe how we can relate it to seeing ghosts on the golf course, whether it's like noticing the out of bounds stakes or noticing the lake. I just wanted to kind of get your sense on what your feelings on seeing ghosts means.
Yeah, seeing ghosts, it's very applicable to golf because every time you take a drop, you have to be fully committed. Yes, there are things that you have to account for that are unexpected, but you have to be fully committed that the play will work. Like if you go and exit the huddle and you are not a believer that this play will be successful, like it has no shot before it even gets started.
That sounds a lot like picking the wrong club and wrong shot. Yeah.
100%. You're standing over. It's like, I need to hit this low. And like all of a sudden you just forward press just a hair and you miss it right and hit it off the hosel. Like, yeah, I've done that. But it's very similar, I think. And when you see ghost, you're just not trusting what you're seeing. So for instance, like you see 2 safeties, quarterbacks are always taught to read it from the front to the back. So you go, throughout your week of prep, what the defensive front is going to look like based on where the nose tackle is, the guard, where guys are, and their tendencies. Like when they blitz, do they blitz out of this formation? Do they blitz out of this alignment, out of this front? When they blitz out of this front, let's say you have a 3-down defensive line. All right, well, I know if they have a 3-down defensive line, I got problems. So I can have problems left. I can have problems right. I need to make sure the Mike's sorted out. Like who's the Mike linebacker? Who are my offensive linemen accounting for? Is this guy taking 2? Which 2 are mine? So 3-down fronts are hard. 4-down fronts are a little bit more manageable. But after you diagnose the front and where your problems could come from, you look at the safety and you have to identify coverages. And when you look at the safeties, you either see 2 or 1, and most offenses are saying, all right, this is a 2 high safety beater. Like this route combination beats 2 high safeties. On the other side, this is a 1 high safety beater. So if you see a 2 high safety beater and all of a sudden they roll to 1, you need to be on your 1 high safety beater. If you see 1 and they roll to 2, you need to go to your 2 high safety beater. Then you have man concepts that you can check to if you see man and things like that. So when you see ghosts, it means that they're really in 2 high, but instead of going like this, maybe they went like this. And then the third corner goes that way and they play like a 3 cloud, which is basically a 1 high safety, but it looks like 2. So you
now
know
just
what I
don't
mean?
know where people are going to be.
Yeah. It's like, I think I know where they are, but I don't really know where they are. Like I'm freaking out. Where's my running back? You know what I mean? Or
did you ever see ghosts when you played?
Oh my God. Yes.
All the time? Or?
Oh, absolutely. Yes. Now, sometimes more than others. And sometimes the game's just moving way too fast. Like,
yeah.
It's just like, oh my gosh, this is, or for instance, like you see ghosts where you see an alignment and all of a sudden, hey, okay, shoot, they're rolled this way. I could have pressured this way. Let me adjust the protection. Hey, William, you go take this Mike linebacker to the right-hand side, number 57. He's yours. Hey, Mark, you take this guy to the right-hand side, number 42. He's yours. And then I'll take number 36. It's the Will linebacker. Well, you see that, you adjust the protection. Now the shot clock's coming down and you got to snap it. And all of a sudden they roll back the other way and the safety's coming the other direction and we're toast. So like you're seeing ghosts because you see something, but it's not reality. Like you need to just play and react. So seeing ghosts is a very real thing. It's not that dissimilar than like I've never played Augusta, but like they always talk about hole 12 and how, the smart play is to hit it right over the tongue of the bunker. Right. I guess that's what they say. To me, that seems like you have a bunker in the front, a bunker in the back, and I really don't want to be in the bunker in the back. So I feel like I'd bail out left. But long story short, I feel like a lot of players, because of how that hole sits into the terrain, overanalyze the wind. And they're looking at it and they're thinking, okay, there's no wind up there. And then the announcers are always like, there's wind. I'm just telling you, account for the wind. You're going to hit it in Rays Creek. Like you're going to account for the wind. I think that's kind of what seeing ghosts is like. It's not really there, but it is to an extent. So it's like, it's just seeing things that aren't really reality is what seeing ghosts is. And that's a hard thing to deal with. And it's a hard thing to shake really as a quarterback. It really is. It's terrible.
Greg, I think that chess game of football that you're describing, where you're a quarterback, you're processing all the nuances of a defense, is absolutely fascinating. And I also think that, we're seeing new wrinkles, at least at the professional level this year, things like the new kickoff rules. Everyone's just kind of going from scratch, going back to the drawing board, trying to come up with stuff that's going to work with no real reference point. I'm curious, just from an offensive, defensive perspective, how much of the concepts in today's modern version of the game is just something cyclical, something old becomes new again. There's a new kind of fresh, invention of what you're trying to do versus just guys that are, smart enough to understand what what offenses have been trying to do the last 3 to 5 years and coming up with something that's completely new or fresh.
Well, it's always, it is cyclical. Everything about it is cyclical. And a lot of it has to do with how teams have, in college, let's just use college, how teams have recruited. So for example, like let's go to the Big 12. This is a good example. The Big 12 basically was a league that was kind of line of scrimmage in the 90s. Ricky Williams, Adrian Peterson, they're in the early 2000s. Like they were very much like physical line of scrimmage league. A&M was a line of scrimmage team. Kansas State was a line of scrimmage team. And then Mike Leach got the job at Texas Tech. And it's like, all right, well, we can't run it against you guys because we can't recruit offensive linemen that can mow you off the ball. And we can't recruit defensive linemen that can stop the run like Texas and like Oklahoma. So I'll come up with a new concept where you have to cover us in space. And we think that our receivers, which we can recruit, are going to be better than your run-stopping safeties when we get them in one-on-one coverage. So as a result, Texas Tech started scoring 1 million points. And in 2008, they were one of the best teams in the country with average personnel. And everyone's like, hang on a second, why don't we do that? Like we have good personnel. Imagine what we would do with that offensive mentality. So they started running it. Then the Big 12 over the course of like 6, 7, 8 years became a league where you might have to win games 66-59. And then people are like, well, hang on, man. These guys that are throwing it all over the yard, like they're soft along the line of scrimmage.
Exactly.
It's a new era in CFB to start off this year, put on full display.
My take on this game is simple. I know some people will be upset about it. Good riddance to the Pac-12.
Can you do it in terms of the week to week to week?
I don't see a pathway for this team to miss the college football playoffs.
We want to make sure you have those best bets in the entirety of our betting cards.
That was
Lincoln!
But he had that program was already going there!
Only on SportsGrid.
Talk about your freshman year at Alabama and even the redshirt year that got you ready to perform at the highest level.
You had to learn a lot about humility, about being patient to play at Alabama, and you still knew that you're going to have a shot to win a championship every year. And so that's the line. And so I think that's what's really missing with today's football. You got NIL, you got social media.
The Early Line. Only on SportsGrid.
Everyone had him rookie of the year, offensive player of the year. Bears are going to the Super Bowl. Eberflus coach of the year. He was terrible.
If he's going to be success, he's got to play within structure as much as possible. I get it. If the pocket breaks down, throw off the platform. That's fine. But within structure, when the play is there to be made, you need to make it, and he didn't do that.
Pharrell Coast to Coast. Only on SportsGrid.
147 yards against the Jets and a touchdown? I mean, the numbers are incredible.
It's the Shanahan connection, and that's just what it feels like. And, Jordan Mason came into that game with a career 5.6 yards per carry. He's always been a very tough runner. He's always been good when called upon in small doses. You mentioned the yardage, which was impressive, but 28 carries. That's what I'm looking at.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
Welcome back to the Smylie Show, where we are buttoning up a Friday 30-minute edition of the show. I am Charlie Hulme, and at time of recording, coming off a crucial quarterfinals win for the Hope Valley Men's League playoffs. My guys on BF 3000, we're moving on. You do not care about that at all, which is completely okay. What you might be caring about right now is college football, pro football. Just heard from Greg McElroy the last two segments talking about his career at Alabama, the state of modern college football, a lot of other interesting stuff that we are very focused on as we move into the fall. What might also be interesting for you, if you are like me, like Smylie, a golf sicko, there is a lot of golf to watch this weekend in the middle of September. Complete shocker. Let's start on the ladies' side, where the Solheim Cup is at time of this show. If you're watching right now, the ladies are underway at Robert Trent Jones Golf Club in Virginia, contesting a year after the Americans lost the Solheim Cup in Spain, Finca Cortesine. It was actually a tie, 14-14, but as the Europeans had won the previous Solheim Cup, they retained possession of the cup. The Americans are looking to change that. They're looking to go out and make a big swing here. We got Nelly Korda, number one player in the world. We have Lilia Vu, number two player in the world, looking to reclaim that cup in a big way. I think for Nelly specifically, she had an amazing start to the season, won a number of events in a row, comparable to Scotty Scheffler's start to the season. Didn't play as well as she might have hoped to in the latter half of the season, had some shaky results at majors, but here's a chance for her to put a big exclamation point on that season and really do something for the Americans they haven't done at least the last two times in the Solheim Cup, put a stamp on this year and get a big win for an event that is greatly important to the ladies on the American side. So take a look for that. A lot of good places you can watch that, Golf Channel and otherwise, Peacock. Over in Europe, DP World Tour playing the Amgen Irish Open, and they're playing at a place that is one of the best courses in the world, Royal County Down. You can look at any sort of ranking list. You'll find RCD in the top 10, maybe top 5. Beautiful, beautiful venue. And if, like me, you're a guy that likes to roll out of bed, get a cup of coffee, throw on the TV, throw on Golf Channel. This is a great week to do it because the visuals there are going to be unbelievable. You're going to be seeing one of the best courses in the world. So that's worth checking out for sure. Rory McElroy, after the first round, just 2 shots off the leads. There's another reason to watch. He is at 3 under after that first round. By the time you're watching this, he might have finished his second round. So check into that, and then maybe catch up on the weekend. You can wake up early and pour your cup of coffee before you watch College Game Day. You can check out Rural County down over there for the Irish Open. Definitely a good watch. Flipping over to the PGA Tour, where they're playing the last event before the President's Cup at the end of September, the ProCore Championship out in Napa. A lot of names to pay attention to over there that are part of both the American and the international team in 2 weeks. And so Minwoo Lee carded around a 4 under to get things started on the international side. Of course, he's tied for 9th. Sahith Theegala at 3 under, tied for 22nd. You have Wyndham Clark at 2 under, as well as Mackenzie Hughes also at 2 under, tied for 38th. And then Corey Connors on the wrong side of par, 1 over round that has him tied for 98th. The guy I want to key on here, Max Homa, tied for 53rd as we're recording this, who carded a 1 under round to get things going on Thursday. Max is a guy that has been arguably the best American performer the last 2 times out in Ryder Cups or President's Cups. In a losing effort in Rome, Max was 3-1-1, crucial singles win on Sunday at the President's Cup at Quail Hollow in Charlotte. He did not lose a single match, did not tie a single match, 4-0. And was, just solid as a rock for the Americans. So it's a guy that coming into this President Cup, you'd say, hey, he has to be a lock. There's no chance he can't make this team. Well, Max's form the latter half of the season, really for most of the season, has been less than his standards. He'd probably be the first person to tell you that. And most recently, it's been a struggle off the tee. Looking at the BMW Championship stats, he was last in the field in strokes gained off the tee, and close to the top of the field in strokes gained approach, which just illustrates what a disparity he's had between the rest of his game and just trying to kind of get the ball in fairway and in play so he can gain strokes and be in play in a tournament. So looking at his stats after the first round, he's actually positive in strokes gains off the tee, which bodes well for him as he kind of heads into the rest of the week. Lost strokes approach, lost strokes putting, both something worth keeping an eye on. But I think for me, if you're looking at Max's game and who you're potentially going to pair him with, he paired well with Brian Harman in Rome, a match play dog who is just a great player out of Georgia. I'm looking for guys that are going to be consistent, who are going to hit fairways, that are going to be steady if he's going to lose it off the tee in a better ball format, but also in an all shot format. If Brian Harman's putting him in play and he can gain strokes there, that's going to be a good recipe. So look out for Max Homa as you tune into the ProCore Championship in Napa this week, and looking forward to the President's Cup in 2 weeks. And that is our wrap for the Smylie Show half-hour edition on Friday. We'll look forward to talking to you next week as we do more preview for the President's Cup in Montreal. Thanks for watching and listening. We'll see you then.
You know what? What can one of these quarterbacks or wide receivers do for me this year to make a wager? It's got to be the running conditions there for Jaden Daniels.
In regards to Jaden Daniels, I was on him in regards to the Heisman Trophy. I actually think he's going to do it on the ground, through the air, 40 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, playing in Cliff Kingsbury's offense where he wants to spread it and throw it. I think he's going to put up dynamic numbers.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
The sharpest football contest show in the land, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show, focuses on Circus Sports Million, Circus Survivor, and the Westgate Super Contest, handicapping the games and releasing our contest picks every week of the season. With 2 former Super Contest winners, Brady Cannon and James Salinas, a former NFL player, Mike Pritchard, and over $1 million in contest prize money won combined, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show will have you prepared this season like none other.
There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
Talk about your freshman year at Alabama and even the redshirt year that got you ready to perform at the highest level.
You had to learn a lot about humility, about being patient to play at Alabama. And you still knew that you're going to have a shot to win a championship every year. And so that's the line. And so I think that's what's really missing with today's football. You got NIL, you got social media.
The Early Line. Only on SportsGrid.